Welcome to Whisky and SV. I'm your host Sam, and tonight we're going to be drinking some Jim Beam bourbons. And I have in my possession samples from the latest and greatest release from the Jim Beam distillery, the Hardin's Creek Warehouse series. So, as you know, Hardin's Creek is a sub brand of Jim Beam, and they've been coming up with this Hardin's Creek line, which does a lot of experimentation to show the differences between the same whiskey at the same ABV, same mash bill at least, but then like just aged in different environments. So, famously, a couple of years ago, they did the trio terroir set where they did Claremont, Frankfurt, and Boston, which are the names of three cities in Kentucky where they have warehouses. And they were actually quite different. Like the Boston, which was my favorite, was the most oaky. That was the third release. They were all bottled at 110 proof. These are also at 110 proof, and they're also from three different warehouses. The warehouses have names apparently. So the first one is the warehouse G, which is Owl. The second one is from warehouse R, which is called Mushroom. And the third one is from warehouse W, and that is the Beaver. It's funny because I was watching Jason from the Mash and Drums review of this before, and he just can't help but you know laugh every time he says the beaver. For the immature mind like us, kind of funny. Anyways, the purpose of today's episode is to try out these three cool new bourbons to tell you which one I prefer. As you can see, I don't have full bottles, so this is the first time I'm trying them. Thanks to my good friend Joe for the samples. He was actually at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival recently, and he picked up the bottles. He actually did offer me the bottle at cost, but I opted to get a free sample instead because he's a generous guy, and yeah, I'll hopefully make up to him by giving him some samples that he that I have that he doesn't. But yeah, that's a great thing about having great whiskey friends, especially generous ones that share their bottles. So you get to try more cool new stuff, and yeah, I'm excited to see which ones of these I prefer. Yeah, and the cool thing about Joe is he always gives me these like the all the very meticulously prepared samples, with the labels on them. So it's always great and a pleasure. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. As you can see, I am going to do a blind, but there's no really good reason to do a blind, to be honest, because well, I've not tried them before. I did watch the review, so I don't want to be, I don't really want to be influenced by whatever it says. So I'm going to put number one on G, which is the owl. I'll put number two on the R, which is a mushroom, and I'll put number three on W, which is the beaver. Ha ha. All right. Let's not be immature here. Yeah, so I have heard that these are not the best, honestly, because they're just like not as given the price point, which is $150. They probably just don't stack up against some other available bourbons. I should have mentioned that these are 11 years old and bottled at 110 proof, which is 55% ABV. So yeah, I guess that is something that is consistent among the whole Hardin's Creek line. Oh, by the way, Hardin's Creek did have some other releases in between, like the um, Golden Harvest or some stuff, and I don't know. There were, and there was like a 2-year kernel, whatever. Anyways, those were like so bad. I did have, and I think I reviewed the Golden Harvest one on my channel, and it's just not very good. All right, so as usual, I'm going to nose them, give you some notes, taste, give some more notes, tell you my preferences. I'm not going to guess which is which because there's no point. I haven't tried these before, and yeah, then I will do the review. Here we go. Starting by the first one. Ooh, that's quite nice. Yeah, there is that slight Jim Beam peanut note there, so it's recognizably a Beam sort of a Jim Beam note. but it's also quite fruity. Yeah, it's quite nice. I like it. The the grain note is still there somehow, which is strange for an 11-year-old whiskey. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Definitely enjoyable. I don't know if it's $150 plus tax enjoyable, but it's good. Ooh, this one is more. What's the word? It has a funk to it. Yeah, those. It's kind of like a ripe fruit that has gone a little bit overripe. Interesting. I like it. It's sort of more complex in some ways. All right, going to the third one. Ooh, this one is more aromatic, closer to the first one than the second one, I would say. Yeah, they're all recognizably sort of a Jim Beam. They have that slight peanut note that Jim Beam tends to have. It's ever so slight. It's not as prominent as you get in some of the younger sort of Jim Beam whiskeys, but definitely recognizably a Jim Beam whiskey. All right, let's go to the palate. Interesting. This started a little bit on the citrusy side, and then the spices came out. Quite a bit of that peanut note, and it turned into a peanut butter note. It's very quite viscous, which is nice. And when the bitters from the citrus notes go away, it's actually much more like a peanut butter smooth type note. Yeah, quite enjoyable. Let me try it one more time. When I swish it around, though, it's even more recognizably Jim Beam. There's quite a lot of peanut there, actually. Um, yeah, definitely like reminds you of a Booker's, like a low proof Booker's. Um, quite a lot of oak, nice amount of spices. If you like that Jim Beam flavor, there's nothing to say negative about it, other than perhaps the price. Yeah, I mean, I think I should probably do a side by side by a Booker's just to see, but yeah, it is. It's nice. It's nice. I like it. Okay. The age on these is significantly more than a Booker's. I think Booker's are in the order of 6 to 8 years old. A majority of them around 7. So, yeah, it does come across as older for sure. But yeah, but very similar. Okay, let's go to the second one. Interesting. This is very similar. I would say I on the palate on the nose it was significantly different on the first try, but now it's becoming more the same. So let's see. It comes across as more oaky and less viscous. It doesn't have the same oiliness for some reason. It's tending more towards the citrus and bitter notes, and the spices are more raw as well. I think I definitely prefer the first one to this one. Um, let's see again. Yeah, this definitely goes much more towards the citrus and the bitters, which for me is a big no-no. Um, it's not bad. I mean, it's all right, but definitely prefer this one to it. Quite a way actually. Okay, let's go to the last one. Mm, this is more inviting, I guess. Quite similar. This also has. This seems to have more layers for some reason. I'm not really sure why. There's something about it that kind of like comes in waves. It's still got those citrus notes, which I'm not a huge fan of. Um, but yeah, I guess it's like in between the first two. I think the first one I enjoyed the most, but it was also the first sip. So I'm gonna go back and see if it's changed. No, this definitely the smells different. The peanut note on this is very prominent compared to the other two. Yeah, it's like yeah, very peanutty actually. Quite um, prominent, I would say. Okay, if you don't like the peanut nut, you might be actually like put off by this. Let me go back to this one again. Yeah, now going back and forth, definitely this comes across as way more citrus forward. They're very similar though. I mean, that's peanut note. After a few sips, actually, the peanut note is starting to merge with the citrus bitters, and it's a taste that I'm not a huge fan of, to be honest. And it's way more prominent on this one than this one. Okay, third one. They're all starting to taste the same to me at this point. I think once I got that past those first sips, all I'm tasting is just this like citrus and peanut note, and the peanut and the citrus notes start to get a little bit bitter towards the end, which is not my favorite. And I think it is pretty spicy. They're all kind of spicy. This is the most spicy one actually. My tongue is still feels like it has pepper on it. It's tingling. Let me try it one more time. Yeah, it's interesting because the more I go back to these, the less I enjoy them. Um, yeah. So yeah, for sure, I would say none of these is something that I would want to pay $150 plus tax to own. I'm glad that I got to try them, and thanks again to my friend who shared this with me. I think for me, this is of the two the more enjoyable one. These two of these two, they're kind of similar, although I would slightly opt for this one. This one, just like those citrus notes are a little bit too much for me. And yeah, so yeah, number one, number two, and the close number three. Okay, let's see. So the first one is number three. Okay, this is the beaver. All right, so I like the beaver. Wow. Okay, and number two, this is, oh, sorry, this one I picked as number two, right? So that is number three. That's number one. So number one is the owl. And the last for me is the mushroom, which is interesting because I think Jason from the Mash and Rum preferred the mushroom as his favorite. And when I first smelled it, I did think that it's more complex, but then on the palate, that citrus note like really put me off. Interesting. Anyways, to me, none of these is anywhere near as good as the first releases. Given that you can probably still get those first releases that are actually, by the way, 16 and a half years old for a tad over $200, maybe like 200 and definitely under 250, right? Um, those are way better whiskeys than these. It's just like these to me should have been priced closer to maybe like $80 or something like that. It just doesn't make sense to pay 150 plus tax. And people were asking actually on the secondary more than $200 for these when they first came out, and they're just not worth it. 11-year-old whiskey, and definitely not as complex as the Terroir series, the first release that they did. I've actually had the Jacob's well as well, which is in the Hardin's Creek line. Jacob's well, the first one I haven't had, but the second one, which everyone loves, and is 210 weeks old or whatever. It's like basically 17 and a half years old. Those are significantly better than these, and you can still have them for basically a little bit more, but like not that much more. So I would definitely encourage you, if you want to try Hardin's Creek, don't start by these. Go acquire yourself either one of those original three. Boston for me was the best, or the Jacob's Well, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it way more than these. All right, I hope you enjoyed that episode, and I will see you next time. Cheers.